Hello, back for another story time with Charles. There's this one story I had. I didn't write it. Had it in mind for years. I don't even know if I wrote a story of it, like a scene, but basically I called it the assembly line. And there was this character who worked at the assembly line of a car factory. And he was the maintenance dude. So he was kind of a nitpicky dude, very anal and da. But he was a good person, he was an empathetic person. But basically he had to inspect cars. I can't even remember if it was cars or what it was gonna be, but he inspected stuff. And basically he always had to analyze things, whether they're good or not, whether they're bad. And basically in the story I was gonna write, he got off his job one day and he just started, because he was in the inspecting line and in the inspecting zone, and he had to put a bunch of, product like cars away, engines, tires, hoods, all that stuff. And then he went out into society and, he went to a bar or something. I don't know, I can't remember. This story I came up with probably 10 years ago. And basically he just went to a bar, or he was walking down the road and he saw a homeless person or someone doing something really stupid, and just his mind clicked and he's like, oh, people. He just started quickly analyzing people. He basically took his brain that was meant to judge the car's quality and onto people. You know where this is going. And he just started analyzing people like this. And this is gonna be kind of an offensive story for some people, but it's a story. And he just started looking at people. And basically what the progression of this story was gonna be about is basically you have a guy that analyzes things for a job, and he starts looking at people, and he quickly realizes that he lives in a society where we do not accurately judge people. The assembly line of people is not being run well by the people who operate the assembly line. And it's kind of true in life. I mean, look at shoes. I don't even know, but I mean, I imagine in China, the Chinese Indian sweatshops, where they have the shoes, they probably throw out a shitload of shoes. There's some crappy, shitty shoe, and they're like, oh, that's not good. Toss it. The cars, the same thing. This hatchet, this. Think about how many designs of this hatchet they threw away. This is the hatchet that made it. It's even a hammer. It's meant for hammering stuff. Think about all the hatchets they made that they had to boot. We don't do that with humans. We don't. We don't. We literally God, this is gonna sound so bad, but I'm gonna say it. We don't do it with humans. Look at all this jail stuff, we put people in prison. It's one thing if you're stealing money to steal your, to feed your family. It's stuff like that. You steal I don't know, a candy bar out of a store. It's okay, that's illegal, but But then you have people that are robbing people, inflicting trauma, rape, robbery, and murder. It's that's bad. We don't view people like a defective hatchet that you throw into the trash. It's, oh no, they need to go to, rehab, they need to go into jail and be taught, this is how you are, and they'll get let back out into society. And what happens when a defective hatchet, a defective car goes back out into society? It fucks shit up. And we do that with humans. And what I probably would have done for this story, for the guy that works on the cars, from what I remember, because this was, God, it was over 10 years ago. Basically, this guy just starts looking at people, and he's baffled, how in that? What is wrong with people? What is wrong? And he starts reading about history, and he starts looking at the newer modern society and how society is kind of soft, and it's it just lets people live. It's we live in a society that people aren't tested anymore. You know what was the factory back in the day? Nature. Nature was the assembly line when humans went throughout life. Back in the day, if you were in the tribe and you were told not to eat from the poison berry bush, you died. Back in the day, if, Bob McBobbert III, clan IQ 95, somehow they made it. If, the great descendant had an IQ of fucking 70, and he's like, oh, the poison berry bush. And everyone's like, don't eat it, Bobbert the Third, don't eat it. And he ate it, he died. He didn't pass on his genes. The clan probably got overthrown, or maybe like his, estranged bastard brother took it over who had an IQ of 110, 115. A better genetic stock. You don't do that anymore. We live in a society where someone can go out and do something horrendously stupid and they're told, oh no, it was an accident, it's okay, you can recover. And we encourage those people to like get better. I'm all for people getting better, but there comes a point where it's like, okay, is it worth you getting better? Really? It's like, we live in a society where the assembly line, which was nature, is gone. The assembly line of humans is literally like, it no longer starts in the back and moves and we get tested along the way. It's literally like you're born at the end of the assembly line. There's no tests you have to go through. An assembly line does tests, like this hatchet. There's probably tests that this hatchet had to go through. The hatchets that didn't make it had to go through, to make it. We literally will test this hatchet. I don't know. I'm not a hatchet maker, but think about all the hatchets that didn't make it. There's probably cracks in some of these things. Didn't stand up. Like, what tests do we do now for humans on the assembly line? I mean, in nature, when it was just pure genetic fitness, Bobbert eating from the berry bush, the amount of people I know that would have eaten from a poison berry bush and died is like over 50. It's over, I'm not, it's 50. I mean, I know multiple people that just would have just croaked over. The village would have found the, Bobbert, Bob, clan 95 IQ, like a week later, just deceased next to the berry bush. And they're like, oh, he ate the berry bush. And nowadays, people would have been like, oh, what a travesty. What a horrible thing. And people back then were like, yeah, fuck, shit happens. And it's like, so we don't test people for that. People can do incredibly stupid things. And they get away with it. It's like we are an assembly line of stupidity. Like the one thing that we do not check for, like in this hatchet, they check for cracks, how strong it is, the wood, is it good, whatever this stuff is, they check a variety of things. Our assembly line of modern society does not check for stupidity, long-term thinking. I can't imagine what that dude in the story would have gone through. I mean, I think a lot of us, humans that are very open, willing to look at things for what they are, kind of deal with that, like, assembly line guy. That dude in the story, if I ever wrote it, he would just be appalled. He would just be looking at people and being like, you, and you would not make it, And some people call this bad, like, oh, that's like eugenics or whatever. Oh, that's a horrible thing. It's like, well, what are we supposed to do? I mean, it's like, we live in a life, like, look at it. This is look at your life. Whoever watches this. We all know difficult people, be it like family, friends, your coworker, that random person you like bump into, your neighbor, like just someone somewhere is difficult. We all know them. The entire spectrum. And it's like, if you really pay attention to the difficult people in life, you will overwhelmingly notice they're difficult with everyone else. And we live in a society where we are not willing to say, like, that person is defective or has problems. We go, you have to learn how to deal with that person. Like, do you know how crazy that is in a very real sense? For society, imagine a hatchet that is broken and is crap, and you buy it and sell it to someone, and someone's like, this hatchet doesn't work. It's not good. Every time I throw it or chop or hammer, it doesn't work. And imagine like King Hatchet or whatever from the, Ace Hardware store, Hickory, whatever, is like, oh, no, you just have to use the hatchet in a new way. You have to deal with it, not the way it's meant to be. It's like, you would look at you would be like, what? Are you serious? This crap hatchet I have to use in a certain way. Like, we say that with people. There are people out there who are beyond difficult and have made your life hard and other people's lives hard. I'm telling you, look at the people that make your life hard. They almost always have made other people's lives hard. It's very rare one person is like gone for you. They usually go out and do everything. And it's like, we have to view those people like, oh yeah, they're the same human as us. They're not a defective human that made it off the assembly line, you know? We live in an assembly line with the most half-assed, shit-ass checkers. There's no checkers anymore. The assembly line is just there pumping them out saying, go, go, go. Nature. I mean, fuck, you know, the assembly line is nature and we're on the assembly line, but we became so good on the assembly line that we just like took over the factory and said, no to nature. We really have conquered nature. You know humanity has conquered nature when we no longer allow the genetically unfit or the stupid or just the people with the inability to look 2 or 3 steps down the road from being gone. Oh, we conquered nature, all right. Damn right we did. And it's like, you have to view people like that. I've known people in my life where it's like, it's clear that they're the difficult ones. Because it's like, it's not just me, it's like multiple other people. And it's like, we have to view them as normal. Do you know how annoying that is? Having to view difficult people as if like you're equal to them. And it's like, you know, in some ways that's like, it's easy for them to get by in life. Imagine like, just the hatchet. I just always compare like when we talk about humans to like inanimate things, you know? It's like no one would ever say a hatchet that doesn't work. Like if this was a shitty hatchet, people would just say throw it away, get a new one. No one would say, oh, you gotta like, you know, deal with it, maybe use it differently, go a little like slow with it. We say that with humans all the time. All the time. And it's astounding. It's astounding how like some people made it off the assembly line. And I think the thing with this story, if I ever write it, I probably won't. Just an idea. That's why I'm doing this, to share them. Like if that story is like the people with their eyes that are open. You know, if you're some person that's like, oh, everyone's the same, we're all equal, kumbaya, this story is not for you. But if you are someone who has your eyes open, you are the assembly guy. You were the guy that got off work from making the cars, you know, checking the engines, the tires, the hoods, the windshield, and you're out in society watching people like, holy shit, how do some people get by in life? Some people are just barely getting by. And it's because of society. It's because of society, because we just don't, it's like people aren't tested anymore. It's nature. We don't test people. It's not even that we don't test people. Like, people are tested every day. You got to get up early, go to work, do your thing. But just on like the most basic levels of existence. Like the whole stupid thing. Like, I used to work by the beach, and I heard from one of my coworkers that was at the beach one day that like he sent a video to me because he wasn't working and he was just there, and he said like a woman literally dug herself in the sand and the waves were coming up because the tide, like, this was real. That's something you hear about in a movie. No, this happened. And I literally looked it up on like the local news. I was like, that's real. Someone like that died. They did not make the assembly line. What we got to do in society is have like the assembly line be much more active, you know, much more, whoever's running the assembly line be much more participatory in the, you know, the humans getting off the assembly line. No one would ever say that about this axe. If it's a broken axe, you throw it away. That's why I think, you know, the whole thing with eugenics, it's like people act like it's a horrible thing, which, yeah, you know, when you talk about it with the Nazis, yeah, it's bad, but like, we all perform eugenics. I mean, women are some of the most eugenic people out there. Like, when a woman decides to like sleep with a guy and have a baby with a guy and rejects another guy, when a woman rejects a man, she's performing eugenics. And women are like some of the most, oh, I'm against eugenics. It's like, think about all the men you have denied. if you're a woman watching this, you've performed eugenics a lot more than most men. See, women are kind of good at it. Well, no, are even women good at it? I mean, shit, there's a lot of women sleeping with dumbasses. I know women going after the dumbest men. Yeah, the assembly line really isn't good. It's not. Some women are good, you know, they're good at picking certain men, but some women, I've seen them, like, if they were assembly checkers on the assembly line deciding what should pass, they would have let in so many broken axes go through. Just pass. The amount of women I know that have just, like, slept with dumb men, like literal, like, low IQ, unintelligent men, just, but they got swag, they're cool. And it's like, you know, is that good for society? Like, there's something about holding people to standards. Like, if you're in a factory, you know, there's the factory, you have the inspectors saying, oh, is this hatchet good? Is this good? Well, you got to make sure the inspectors are good, you know? Are they good? You got to hold them to a certain quality. We don't hold people to a quality. It's like us humans in society are the inspectors, but then, like, the morals, like the ethics, whatever, the belief, the religion of society, that's like the guidebook, you know? You hold an inspector of a hatchet factory, a car factory, an iPhone, a shoe, a shirt. You hold them to a standard. And you know how you hold them to a standard is the rules that are written, the rules that the boss came up, the rules written down in the pamphlet book. You go over the pamphlet. Oh, if there's a crack here, you get rid of it. Oh, if this button doesn't do the proper thing that the button's supposed to do, you get rid of it. It's exactly what you do. It's like the morals of our society, or ethics, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is just going down the tank. It's getting so shitty. And it's just, we're just like, it's just going. I mean, there's gonna come a day, I mean, it's not that, like, I don't know if COVID's gonna come again, but I just feel it. It's in the air. There's gonna be something else that just hits society. And I'm telling you, it's just gonna just get people. I don't want it to happen. They're just coming, you know? If, like, the inspectors for a factory are, like, not even giving a fuck about the quality of the hatchet, and they're just sending them out there, yeah, it's gonna implode. It's gonna break. The factory's gonna crumble. So just imagine being that character, which I think many of you, the inspector, that's what I should call that story, the inspector. I think many of you are like that inspector. You deal with the same shit as him. You go out into society, you deal with someone who causes problems for you, problems for something, and you're sitting there like, what are you gonna do? You gonna are you gonna deal with a defective human and, like, you know, go down to their level? That's like the whole quote. Who said I think it was Einstein said, don't go down and argue with, like, don't wrestle with pigs because they'll beat you with experience or something like that. Like, you'll get muddy. Like, don't argue with someone because they'll beat you with experience. I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like, yeah, if someone's causing bullshit and problems, are you really gonna argue with them? Are you gonna go toe to toe and argue with them? Or are you gonna view it like the hatchet? If a hatchet is shitty, you're gonna throw it away. Look at something in your life that you recently threw away or you discarded, or something that doesn't work. What do you do with it? Yeah, it's annoying, but you dispose of it. Well, when you're dealing with people in life that are making your life difficult, and you really look at them honestly, you're not one of these, you know, woo-woo people that's like, oh, you know, if they just take their meds or, you know, improve their life, they're better, you know. No, if you look at it for what it is, some people are just fucked in the head, and it's the truth, is reality. Some people are just brain dead. If you can look at them like that, you say, you know what? I'm not gonna be around you. You just avoid them. You get them out of your life. I'm not saying, like, throw them in a trash can or anything, but just say, you know what? You disappear. Just like this, if a hatchet is bad, I would throw it away. And I disappear from it. We separate. That's what you do with someone. You don't deal with them. This whole thing in our society about like, you know, dealing with like, you know, I mean, so our society talks about dealing with people. Like, why do you want to deal with someone that's difficult? Unless they're like, you know, a coworker or something, someone you have to see. It's like, if you have a difficult friend, relative, no. Like, just someone that you can't avoid, get away from them. Why would you spend time around a defective whatever? A shirt. They throw shirts away I bet in China, those sweatshop factories, they're tossing shirts right now, every day. Shirts, shoes, shorts, socks, all the different apparel, they're just constantly chucking it. And do that. Be like the assembly guy. I don't know how that story would end. Never wrote it, but the guy would probably just get so baffled with humans. He would go to work and be very specific about the car, and he'd go deal with someone. He's just like, ha. And I think the way I would end that story, if I had to end it based on how our society is, it doesn't work. Like, at the end of the story, he would, like, you know, work on a car and he would throw something away, like a shitty tire or rim, something that doesn't work. Then he goes and, like, deals with a coworker that, like, everyone in the building is annoyed with, you know, the difficult coworker. And he's looking at the coworker like, society, and it's like a light bulb goes off, and he's like, I can throw away these car rims because they're bad, but I can't throw you away. Because that's society. And it's like some of his other coworkers are like okay with it because they're not, you know, they're not strong-minded and willing to see what it is. They're just like, oh no, this person's fine. They cause drama, mayhem, show up late to work, rude, steal other people's lunches. No, they're fine. They made it off the assembly line just like you and me. They're fine. Those people are oblivious, but that main guy is looking at him. The guy that steals, like, you know, crackers and cheese and the tuna sandwich from, you know, Bertha, the 60-year-old woman. If you are an employee stealing food from like a 60-year-old old woman named Bertha, Giselle, some old woman, you are clearly not meant to make it off the assembly line, but you got fucking lucky and you made it off the assembly line. So the story would end with him just looking at the guy like, I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do. Because you can't. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when you meet someone that is like so mentally fucked in the head? And it's like, you can't shoot them. You can't like just, you know, tell them to jump off the cliff like the dodo bird. What do? The assembly line is broken. The only thing in society that should last are the hatchets that work. This is a hatchet that works, and that's why I'm holding it. If there was a crack in it, if it was broken, I would throw it away. But we do not do that in society anymore. My final word is for this. Look around in society and look at the things that would make it off an assembly line that have standards. The phone, the car, the clothes, the hatchet, many other things I didn't name, and be like, oh yeah, there's standards for it. And look at people. And you would realize we are not doing a good job on the assembly line. We are shit inspectors.